What's poppin', y'all? We back. I know I'm starting the show out with the intro in front now. We changing some things around here, smoothing it on out. Always got to try and be more innovative and creative and simple, to say the least. But, y'all, welcome back to the DeAndre Way. Tonight, we are going through the American sports story, Aaron Hernandez, episode 6. Now, I was wrong about there being 8 episodes. There's actually 10 episodes, so we're only halfway through. This episode, however, was probably the best episode. I was shook. They're finally leaning away from the gimmicks, the parodies of the characters, the silliness, the fakeness in my eyes, and focusing more on it actually feels like a real show now. Like I think the show's now finally get got going and since this second half they're trying to switch the whole mood of things from insane fantasy land to kind of somewhat realistic. Somewhat. There still is a little glitter and polka dots left, but for the most part, I actually thoroughly was intrigued by this episode. My thoughts are, well, my initial thoughts after just finished watching it is, wow, we have like a whole another kind of adventure to go through with this man. And this story kind of is the climax it's looking like. I mean, definitely we had, the shooting up happen in this episode and everything seeming to be coming to a tilt. Everything is hitting its highest points and everything's about to come crashing down. And Hernandez, he's losing himself in the he's lost himself in the music this episode. This is the episode where everything kind of just all falls down Kanye West style. And it was intriguing to the fact of, I think the whole relationship thing, it's fantasy. Clearly, it's never nothing of that is proven, but it paints a picture. It paints a picture of a man who is confused. Now, look, all this is alleged. Nothing has been proven fact, but the story is a man who was confused, trying to figure himself out, trying to understand how to deal with having a child, his sexuality, his well, they threw the religion out the window, so there's no more religion. His friends, his influences, and just say his life and getting that contract. So a lot of stress is going into it. Doesn't help that his childhood was traumatic and terrible. And yeah, we gonna get into it, y'all. We gonna get into it. This episode was deep. It was pretty deep. But we get started out. Look, episode gets started out hot and steamy. It gets started out sweaty. It gets started out under the sheets, Isley Brothers settings. If you know, you know. Yes, this man was getting it on and cracking with Chris. And I just now realized this episode. Chris is the trainer from the previous couple episodes who I didn't put two and two together. I was just like, I kept thinking it was the high school friend that came back for some reason. I must have missed, I don't know why I missed that. But I was like, oh, it's the trainer. Duh. And yeah, they in Cabo, Mexico, the Four Seasons. I've never been. Getting it on and cracking. They show a lot. It's just like some HBO, almost Max. But they getting on and cracking, and they're having a good time. A boys' trip, as we're calling it. And yeah, they talk about their lives, and Chris says, "Look, this is nothing. I'm not worried about this. It's just a one-time thing. I have my life. You have your life. We got to go our separate ways eventually." And he played it off. And Aaron, you could tell, was kind of hurt by this. He wasn't pleased with this message. He kind of wanted it to be more because he was even explaining, like, yeah, we should do this once or twice a year. And maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do that. And maybe we could go to Disney World and make it all these things. But other brother Chris shot it down. He's like, look, I got my life and you got your life. And that's is what it is. Because Chris knows he really can't be with Hernandez like that because of one, his celebrity status. Two, obviously his behavior. He's kind of a psychopath. And three, Chris has a wife, I believe, or a girlfriend, something like that. He has his own things going on. And even if he wanted to do this, Aaron Hernandez is too high profile to have it skate by. And he's not trying to get caught up in all that mess. He has a job too. He ain't trying to lose his job. And so he's like, nah. But we get back to the house. They get off the trip. Aaron Hernandez gets home, and his girl is pregnant. She was pregnant this whole episode. I thought the baby was gonna pop out eventually, but next episode probably we see the baby. But you still find out that he's giving Sherrod money because he's trying to. This is funny. This is financial thing actually is he's trying to spread out his investments. In finance they tell you, you want to invest in here, you want to do that. S&P 500, spread it all out. Well, Aaron Hernandez is doing that, but with the drugs. Okay, he's like, look, this I got my legal money, I got my illegal money. I need to spread it out in case something go down, and I need to be protected on all fronts. And she's like, look, just put your money in the Roth IRA or something, coach. Not the drug dealing player who's gonna ruin our lives. Yeah, I would not do that, Aaron. Especially you making good legal money. Why are you even playing around? And look, he could have a thrill off of it. Some people, you get what you want, but you still want to have that rush. You still want to have that feel, and maybe that was his sense of security because he can't trust these new financial advisors and other people telling him what to do with his money that he's never met in his life to do with. Okay, I understand that. Trust me, we've all been led down a rabbit hole once or twice when it comes to where to put our money. And hey, maybe he made a come up. I mean, it's not like he got busted for the money, anyways, and the gun. But yeah, she said no guns in the house, and if you do this again, is wrapped up like Christmas. So he's like, all right, no more drugs in the house, and no more guns. So we get to the press conference in the locker room, and then he's like acting like a delinquent with his friends, flat or his teammates, flashing him, saying obscure things. Now, apparently, this really did happen. He did kind of flash his teammates and was like, suck my dick, all these things. Just kind of just being himself, I think. There was reports of this, true reports. But yes, he was doing the most in this scene. It was kind of weird, to say the least. I don't ever recall people, well, I actually do recall people doing this. Y'all, that stuff actually does happen with some players. Um, and people just trying to be stupid and funny. Now, look, everyone has their own sense of humor, but it is a bit excessive. I've definitely seen a player do this. Matter of fact, I can vividly remember a player specifically doing this and thought it was funny, thought it was a joke, and other people were looking like, oh, God. So, yeah, it was that probably did happen. But then we see the news reports of Junior Seau passing. If you don't know who Junior Seau is, he was a former player on the Chargers, Patriots, a couple other teams. He passed away, he killed himself. And they said it was because of concussions, essentially, and brain damage. Foreshadow, well, semi kind of foreshadowing, because that's not really what happens, but it's leading to the fact of the head trauma message of the show that we keep getting. And soon we see Hernandez sending Chris a ton of messages, pictures, this, that, and the third. And Chris is like, look, you got to stop calling me. Okay. This can't happen for XYZ reasons he named earlier. You need to stop. Do not call me. Do not text me. Do not think about me. Do not Instagram me. Do not DM me. Do nothing. Delete all that. And Hernandez is fed up. I mean, he even pushes some innocent dude in the mall because he's so upset about Chris completely just pushing him out of his life for understandable reasons, as we named earlier. You can't be getting caught up like that. And he's ultimately trying to help Hernandez. Ultimately. So he's just doing it in the way that he doesn't like it. And Hernandez kind of wanted to keep doing this thing, but he stopped him in his tracks. And ultimately, it did help him in that with his marriage, I think, in that regard. Because, hey, look, he turned down a lot of trips to the Four Seasons, coach. I mean, look, he was sacrificing too, you know? But yeah, he shut all that down. And Hernandez is pissed and upset, and he's like, look, it's time to get to the club and pop some bottles and models. And he's like, Sherrod, let's get to the club, coach. And so Sherrod's like, all right, player, I'll meet you there. Be chill. I got the drugs and alcohol, I guess. Just bring the money. And so they get to the club, and they're getting on and popping. Models popping, bottles popping. He even brings somebody in the bathroom, Hernandez does, and starts getting it on and cracking. You know, I'm not in the nasty bathroom. Disgusting. People who do that in the club bathroom need to be studied and analyzed. Their brain needs to be studied, to be honest, because I'm like, not the club. Them sticky floors, them nasty walls. Ugh, can't even imagine that. But yeah, people taking hella pics of him in the club because he's Aaron Hernandez, NFL superstar. People want to get a piece of him, and literally and figuratively. He gets in a squabble soon with people from the club. He's mad because some dude spilled a drink on his shirt. I'd be mad too. He was wearing a clean white tee. That shirt was clean. But now I got this nasty juice stain on it. We've all been there. Don't wear white shirts at the club. Rule number one. I think they lied about him wearing a white shirt at the club. Nobody really does that to the higher extent of things, knowing you got drinks flying and whatnot. But maybe he did wear a white shirt to the club. Who knows? Yeah, he's tight with these dudes. He's tight, and also he's drunk and intoxicated and under the influence of a lot of things, so he's not in the right frame of mind. But since he's so mad, he leaves the club. Trod even does him a solid and gets him out of there. He's like, "Nah, I ain't done. I got a score to settle with these fools because they spilt something on my shirt and they was laughing at me afterwards." They make Hernandez seem like very childlike because only kids would get upset about something like a drink spilled on their shirt and want to do some real revenge over something like that, especially when it was an accident. I don't think that was the real reason why it happened, but hey, if the shoe fits, mm, Ryan Murphy's gonna wear it. But yes, they get in the car and Aaron is like, "Oh, I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna follow it. I'm just gonna teach him a lesson. I'm gonna scare him a little bit." And Sherrod's like, "All right, go ahead and do what you want to do, coach." And so they pull up on dude, and there Hernandez pulls out the gun. He's like, "Hey, what's poppin'?" Pop, 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 pop. I was like, "Damn!" He makes it rain, and not in the way you want to, but raining with that metal. And Tuck ducks off after that, floors it, gets up out of there. Sherrod cleans the gun off, throws it out the window. Stupid. Um, I thought he was gonna throw it in the river. And then Hernandez like, "You gotta hide the car, hide the car." He hides it at his aunt's. I'm just gonna call that his aunt, that lady, that his mom's friend that they had a debacle with. I'm just gonna say his aunt. He hid it at his aunt's place. He's like, "Don't tell anybody where this car is." I'm like, Aaron, uh, look, this is back in 2011, I think. Technology has gotten a lot better. We have Ring on the doorbells, cameras everywhere. Cameras were everywhere then, but not nearly to the point that they are today. Anywho, he hides the car there. His aunt is an accomplice in this, so now like, but he didn't tell her what happened, and she trusts him. She's like, "Look, whatever you need, just make sure you cut me off a piece of bread when you get that new contract." And yeah, that was the end of it, and he's kind of freaking out now. And so Brian Murphy, his agent, soon calls him to meet, and he's freaking out. He's like, "Oh snap, they got me." They even see the cops walk past him. He's getting fidgety, agitated, sweating, knees crackling, arms shivering, head shaking, the whole nine. But he meets with the agent, and he's like, "Hey, we got you a new contract. $40 million. That's a lot of pesos. I know you Hispanic and understand that." And so he's celebrating like crazy with his agent. Look, that's a lot of money. $40 million, I go crazy too. That's enough money to cover up the murder you just did, coach. So get to getting right now. Get to covering. But Aaron forgot about all that, and look, he got his paper. He did what he sought after to do. Gronkowski got his money. Hernandez time to get his money. We only saw a couple Gronkowski this episode too, and they didn't give him no lines. They said, "Look, you was too goofy last episode, so all your lines is scrapped." And he gets his new contract. He signs it with Belichick and Kraft side by side. And they keep glossing, "Oh, he's so mature now, way more than he got when he got out of Florida. He's changed everything around. He's this, he's that." A little much glazing, and a lot different than that press conference went, I'm sure, but I didn't watch the real press conference, y'all. But yeah, anyways, he got his money. and everyone's happy. He even bought a mansion, seven bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a pool table, the whole nice stainless steel, marble. Maybe got some china in that mug too. Everything. And they're having a baby shower. Cheyenne, she's having a baby shower. And soon he pops up and pops out and pops down and pops open the ring. He's like, "Baby, it's time. Will you be my fiance? Will you marry me?" Funny, ironically enough, I got invited to a wedding today. Oh, man, more money. More money. Just kidding. I love the weddings. I love the weddings. Um, but yes, he proposes to Cheyenne, and yeah, soon Sherrod shows up after the baby shower, and he just pulls up, goes all into his basement, pops open a bottle of Chris or whatever he pops open. I think it was something dark. It must have been, he said it was expensive. So some dark, expensive liquor. Maybe it was that new Beyonce liquor. What is it called? C'est quoi? No, Sir Davis. Maybe he popped open that Sir Davis or something like that. No, it is expensive. I saw it at the airport. It's a lot of money. But he popped it open. He's like, "What's up, player? You just gonna ignore me after all that trouble you got me through? You just gonna leave me out to dry? You do that again, something else gonna be dry." Yeah, or wet. Something's gonna be something. And he basically says, like, "Look, don't do it again. We got each other. Capiche, capoche, capoosh." And he's like, "All right." And so he tells him, like, the two dudes you shot died. They don't care about a couple of brothers dead up in Massachusetts. They could care less. The investigation's over. I was like, wow, that's accurate. That's the most accurate thing I've heard so far in this series is them not caring about a couple of brothers that passed away. Ugh, terrible, y'all. R.I.P. to those brothers. But then Sherrod gets him together, yeah, and tells him not to ditch him again. So Hernandez soon he's playing in the game. I don't know, Cardinals, I believe. Doesn't matter. But he gets rolled up on and his ankle's busted. High ankle sprain. If you know anything about high ankle sprain, you got it. You need a walking boot. It's very serious. I luckily have never had a high one. I've had a low one, but high ones you'll be out month, 2 months. Shoot, some people 3 months. It's a lot. And yeah, so he gets rolled up on, injured, and it's the first time he's ever been injured. And Belichick is tripping. He ain't even worried about Hernandez. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I got to worry about the Chargers and the Patriots, and the Vikings and the Bengals and all these other teams." But he ain't worried about Hernandez. He's like, "Dang, I can't use him as a decoy anymore. Oh, this is I'm insane." And it's like that might be accurate too. Belichick, look, one thing about Belichick, his players get injured, he adds another one in there, and boop, they gone. They running it well-oiled machine, just like he expects the Patriot way to be. Drag and drop, like he's on his laptop. No intention of rhyme there, what we just did anyways. And yes, he says, "Dang, they're gonna throw Wes Welker around like a rag doll. We need him as a decoy, coach. You need to hurry up and get back ASAP." So I blame Belichick too, if this is what happened, for him popping on them pills and trying to get healthy quickly instead of just saying, "Take your time. We'll get you back when we get you back." Belichick wasn't on no hot seat, so I don't know why if they think he would rush Hernandez back. I don't. I think that's cap. But yes, Hernandez, he's like, "All right, I'm out for a bit. What am I gonna do?" I felt this was the episode of Groundhog's Day for him. Smoke, pills, game, rehab, weights, be paranoid, repeat. Smoke, pills, game, rehab, weights, get paranoid, repeat. Smoke, you get it at this point. It was Groundhog's Day a bunch of times. They wasted probably 5 minutes on this little montage. And yeah, Belichick, he was cracking me up after because he kept rambling on about, oh, he needs to get healthy, he needs to get healthy. But Aaron started spiraling a bit because he was thinking about everything. He has all this time now. When you have a lot of idle time, you start thinking about everything. Everything. And he was thinking about Kabo. He was thinking about a baby. He was thinking about the games. He was thinking about everything. And he was losing himself in the music. substance abuse at its highest degree. And so Aaron and Shayana soon have a big argument. She's upset because he's has injured and he's at home finally, but he's not spending no time with her. He's not helping prep for the baby. He's not worrying about nothing. And she goes off on him, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Just because you injured doesn't mean you can't hang out and talk about real life things with your soon to be wife. Arguments ensue to happen, and it gets very dramatic. Very, very dramatic. She's painting the walls and saying, you ain't helping pay pain. You ain't helping with the baby crib. You ain't doing nothing. And he's like, I'm doing the best I can. What you think I'm trying to do? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, look, stop fighting. Just stop the fighting. They go crazy at each other. And Cheyenne's like, look, I got to get up out of here. So she goes and stays the night at her mother's house. And she vents to her mom about, Aaron and all the trouble and whatnot. And her mother is toxic as hell in this scene, y'all. I do not approve of this. She says, oh, you need to be thankful. You need to be gracious. You got a husband with all that money. Just get through it and you'll be all right. Your babies have a full life ahead of them and everything's paid for. And she's selfishly thinking about the money. And a lot of people are like this, y'all. Be careful about these people. They lurk and dismiss your troubles and just say, oh, worry about the good things instead of trying to deal with the bad. You got to deal with the bad in order to enjoy the good. So her mom was toxic as hell in the scene. And soon, I'm going to say the aunt rolls up on Aaron and he's watching Ice Age, funnily enough. He's in the stone, he's in the, not Stone Age, he's in the sunken place right now. Just like all the people in Ice Age were about to be once that meteor comes. But anywho, Aaron soon talks to his aunt, kinda. She like, I know like something's going on. You could tell me. And she mentions Cabo, and I thought he was gonna say something, but he didn't say nothing. And she hints like she knows what's really going down, but nothing ever gets said. And she tells him, "Don't throw everything away. Just, at least not yet." I'm like, not yet. So she knows he's spiraling. She knows he's about to do something stupid or has done already something stupid because he's leaving her car at her house. And she's just like, keep it, get it together. Just hold on. Just hold on. It's like he's on one of those, whatchamacallit, slack lines. And he's about to fall. And she's like, just hold on. Just grip it with your feet so tight. We're almost there. At least for a couple more years when his next check cashes. Get all the checks to cash for, then you can do what you want. But she's basically hinted at that, like, look, finish your NFL career and then you can kind of live your life. And soon he's like, I gotta get back on the field. I gotta get back on the field. I'm nothing without football. And so he takes a cortisone shot. Now look, one thing about cortisone, it works. It works. I've never taken one, but I've seen people take it. It's like magic. It's a magic shot. It's gonna get you healthy again. Ain't gonna feel no pain, numbs everything. You're healed. You're healed. You're given another chance. And so he gets all that fixed up, only to come back in the game and hurt his shoulder, and then pops it out of place. I'm like, dang. I think that did happen, if I can remember. This is a while ago. But yes, pops his shoulder out of place. He tells the trainer, look, I ain't got time for this. Pop it back into place. And his trainer's like, are you sure, coach? You could just rehab. He's like, I don't care. And so pops it back into place. And soon, yes, the game ends. He gets another tattoo, more tattoos, more tats. And Sharad's calling him during this time, but he continues to ignore Sharad. And funnily enough, he gets a God forgives tat. I hope so, coach. I hope. That ain't no laughing matter for what the things you was doing and the things you had to deal with, but hopefully the God has forgiven you and the people around you. But yes, Sherrod calls him and he finally picks up and he's like, it's urgent. I need you to meet me in Miami. Take care of this business. And Aaron agrees, like, yeah, I'm going to help you take care of this business. And that's where the episode ends. We get a preview of the next few episodes and it starts getting pretty crazy, you know? I mean, Sherrod's heavily involved. Obviously, Cheyenne's heavily involved. And obviously, it settles around Aaron. And the bad is coming. The bad is coming. So I guess this is kind of the episode where they had to steer it from the goofy serious because it only is serious from here on out. There's not really any fun moments ahead that I can think of except maybe the baby being born. But this episode was actually my favorite, y'all. It felt the most realistic. It finally felt, maybe because I'm getting comfortable with the show now, but it felt real. It felt authentic, and it felt like finally the story was actually being told somewhat of the way it needed to be. So I'll give this episode a 7. And yeah, that's it for the recap slash my reaction to episode 6 of the Aaron Hernandez story. I forgot to name the title. This episode is called Herald Street. And yes, we have 4 more episodes, with the last episode being on November 12th. So we're almost to the finish line, y'all. We almost there. But I appreciate y'all for joining me in this recap. I am very appreciative of all you. Let me know what you think of the episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or did you just listen to me talk about it? But anywho, y'all, we out of here. Peace, blessings, deuces, and always have a great rest of your day.